I will call Takutai Horomia.
Mr. Chair. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Chair, there are some interesting things in here. I've been trying to deduce why the Minister moved with some flourish from the sequencing of whānau, hapu to iwi, and he's turned it around quietly in his SOP to iwi, hapu and whānau. That's one thing Hone Harawira has said right tonight. I think he's deduced it, that what he's trying to do is set it up in a single area for it to be controlled and manifested in the sense of direction by the group that he's comfortable with. I want to get down to part 81 about newly found taonga tūturu. And I was wondering whether I could jog the Minister's support in suggesting that this is quite a powerful part for Māoridom. And I'm wondering how he defines and determines taonga tūturu, which in my translation is the gift or property, sub-property that's been there forever and ever. And it says this, part 1, any taonga tūturu found in a customary marine title area on or after the effective date is prima facie the property of the relevant customary marine title holder. Now, I know it's very good. So what it's suggesting, that all the minerals that are in there, or new found minerals, are those of the title holders. And I would ask the Minister to either for him to be quite clear, is that what it means? That's what it means. And I suppose the other part in the controls, Mr. Chair, is if at any time the Minister of Conservation determines, we've talked about all these issues that are relevant and strong for Māori and that are going to benefit them, but then we come down to this quite cutting exact, not too dissimilar legislation which defines, well, it could be dodgy, but it defines, in that sort of great litigious way. If at any time the Minister of Conservation determines the exercise of protected customary rights under a protected customary rights order or agreement has or is likely to have a significant adverse effect on the environment, the Minister may impose controls, including any terms, conditions on or restrictions that the Minister thinks fit on the exercise of the rights. Now that is really fascinating when we're trying to push this up to statements of freedom, and really what that says, bang, kabunk, all over, I've decided this. And where does everything else sit in the sense of sequencing, and what is the Māori Party thinking when they boast that this is their bill in relation to what could be easily put asunder by some, which some may perceive as just general bureaucratical rhetoric, but most at the end of the day, it's a slippery, slimy way of controlling things. Any person may apply to the Minister of Conservation for controls to be imposed on the exercise of a protected customary right, stating the reasons for the implications. I hope in the late SOP he's going to withdraw that issue about any persons. One of the things that's becoming starkly evident, Mr. Chair, is that I can see a return to the old divide and rule, and everybody setting to on everybody else, as they did, as Mr. Jones would say, in the summaries of the schedules for the fisheries allocations and that. And it's something nobody wants, that we tire of. But I hope that is not what the Māori Party is trying to imbue or ensure happens. And at the end of the day, it's something that we wouldn't support anyway. Back to the taonga tūturu. Any person finding a taonga tūturu in a customary marine title area has a duty to notify the finding within 28 days, and it gets quite specific. And then it says the obligations of the Chief Executive, whomever that may be, under Section 1/4 of the Protected Objects Act 1975 apply with the following modifications, blah, 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 A and B. So are we talking about singular objects in the sense of art and craft? Or are we talking about the paddle that fell off the waka or whatever else? Or are we talking about a collective group of taonga like minerals and whatever else? Well, hangi stones are minerals, and it seems to be okay there. What about more minutely molecules, or whatever you call them, the clusters of that may be iceland? Mr. Chair, what about giving that over? I think it is very important, Mr. Chair, that the Minister is reminded of that at the end of the day. Mr. Chair.
I call